What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, taking a look at the expert run that I got inspired by with yesterday's video with the Shadow Mawile with Astonish. Also, notice some boxes. Life update for y'all. We are moving as of this weekend. Getting the family down here. We're all going to be living together again, so exciting times ahead. But that means that you're going to see some pre-recorded content for about the next week or so, and hopefully by the time everything's settled next week, we should be back in full swing with a new setup and new place. Everything's good. Thank you all very much for the support. It means so much to me and my family, the amount of support that we got to get us out of that situation. And now brighter days are ahead, and I appreciate each and every one of you who did anything, whether you shared it or donated or anything. Just thank you so much. Anyway, this team we built around the Shadow Mawile. We went 18-2 in 4 sets, and then we had a couple of 2-3s after. The 2-3s were probably more due to the fact that I jumped 240 points in one day, and then I was seeing very different meta. But what I've done is I've cored this Mawile, with 2 things that beat fire, fighters, and also the ground types, being like Whiscash and the Mud Slappers, and things like that. This team was incredibly strong. I was very surprised with the results, and just Mawile in general is just such a force in this meta. Don't listen to me, though. Let's get the battles going, because I want you guys to see this thing in action. We're going to get into the first game with Bastiodon. Bastiodon's a really nice lead here. Even though you shield once, you come out of this thing with Mawile so ripped on energy and damage. It's ridiculous. We're just going to go for the power-up punches here to start off, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to continue to ramp up here. I will shield the first flamethrower. I don't want to take a flamethrower. That would hurt a lot. But I also really can't let the Bastiodon see my Mantine or my Golisopod. It's just an accident waiting to happen. However, the opponent decides they're going to try to swap in the Dragonair to absorb this energy, and they absorb it, they shall. We're going to take them out. My sound effects. Where are my sound effects? No! It worked, but it was quiet. Hold on, we'll give it to you now. Oh, so satisfying. The opponent's going to come back in with the Bastiodon, and I kind of, at this point, I realize they're probably really, really weak to this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and give it my second shield. And trainers, I think that's going to be one of the biggest things about this Mawile, is I was not afraid to give it shields in a good matchup, right? And even if you have to go down shields for the most part, like, the only thing this thing is weak to is going to be the ground types and fire types, where if the opponent's got only one answer to the Mawile in the back, if you win the lead, you save the Mawile a little bit, you're going to be able to just come in with Golisopod or Mantine and just have a good time. So the thing with the Trevenant, right, they had to shield. I should have probably, instead of throwing the second pup, I should have probably just gone straight for the Astonish damage, but truthfully, I was like, man, I want to see if I can get another Astonish through with that pup. I wanted to see how much it would do. But we take the first game here, trashing a wall face player. Good game. Getting into the next battle, we got Shadow Mawile in the lead versus a Shadow Girafarig. Now, this is a very unique lead, and sometimes what you can do if you're trying to work on team reading, if you're kind of in the know as far as like teams that are in the community, there is a team going around that is Shadow Girafarig, Bastiodon, Tropius. Basically, the team revolves around true shielding your Girafarig and trying to win switch, and then get alignment with either Bastiodon or that Tropius. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm doing exactly what they're doing, though. However, unfortunately, I'm weak to Bastiodon in the back and somewhat Tropius as well. I'm going to take the shield advantage that I get here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Golisopod. And as far as I'm concerned, right, I just need to try and win this game with Mantine. Now, when I played this game, I was not aware of this team. I actually didn't find out about it until afterwards. So I'm sort of flying blind here, and I'm just kind of trying to play to whatever advantages I can get. I figure I've got shield advantage. It's a pretty good start. Excuse me, we're going to be able to go for this Aerial Ace before going down to the Tropius. Leave them pretty low here, and then come in with Mawile. And I'm thinking, okay, there's a Tropius. My thought is always there's a Basti somewhere, right? Because that's what this Great League Remix Cup has been. It's been, play, where's the Basti? Is it in the lead? No? Well, maybe in the back. Now, thankfully, we get this power-up punch off. I don't think I necessarily needed it in the end game here, but I also didn't necessarily think I should have gotten it through either, to be honest with you guys. Because of the way that the 1-turn lag goes, that's probably why that happened. I normally should not be able to throw a 3-turn move and get my move off into a 4-turn move, just like, it says damage registration error is what they call it. But y'all see how much damage the bubbles and the water pulse are doing. At this point, I'm pretty comfortable that if this is a Bastiodon, which normally whenever I even see a Tropius, I assume it is. But what I need to do here is I also need to get to the Aerial Ace so I can try to throw the move before the opponent's going to be able to get to one. If they have one, then they win CMP, and I probably lose to Psychic Fangs. But thankfully, the opponent did not have a move ready. We're going to get the Aerial Ace down for the win and take that game. Well played. Getting into the next game here, we got Mawile on the lead versus a Pangoro. Normally, you'd think a Fairy type is good here, but because we have Astonish, I'm going to bail out into my Golisopod, and the opponent's staying in to throw a Night Slash of their own. Oh, excuse me. This cough has not left me alone, man. Night Slash is going to do some chip damage, and the opponent will now come in with a Galarian Shadow Weezing. We're going to go for the Liquidation here. This is going to do quite a bit of damage. The opponent does decide they want to shield, but unfortunately, I have yet to get a single debuff with Liquidation, as is my luck. However, I'm pretty sure that Scald has debuffed me at least every other time I've been used. It's been used against me, so, you know, so be it. But anyway, I'm going to go for the Liquidation. It's going to do a ton of damage, and they're going to do it on a charge attack priority tie. I figured I know I win this charge attack priority tie, so I'm going to try and get the damage and the move in. That also leaves them Weezing without any energy with which to possibly throw an Overheat. And now it's going to come down to what the opponent's got. They come back in with the Pangoro. I'm going to go 3 Astonishes because they threw the move right away. Means they need 5 to get to the close combat, and that's what they would want to throw here. So we'll go for the Power Up Punch, and we get a shield. They might have thought that we had the Play Rough. A lot of people don't know the counts for Mawile yet. Like Astonish counts, like people are still getting used to those. Now, unfortunately for me, the opponent gets a boosted Night Slash off here before I'm able to throw this Aerial Ace, and then they bail into an Alolan Marowak, and I've seen this team a couple of times while I was playing, and it's going to be Pangoro, the Alolan Marowak in the back, and this team does very well here. Mantine really is breaking some cores on these in this Remix Cup. I got a little note in chat. I don't remember who gave it to me, but somebody told me that Bubble Mantine is not respected at all, and I tried it. That was part of what made me think about using it, but we're going to be able to take it with the Mantine here, and that's going to be a good game well played. I cannot understate, or I can't state enough, I should say, how much this team carried me through the 4 sets that ran me up to Expert. Mawile beats so many common things in this cup, and the things that it doesn't beat, we just make sure we have the coverage for. We're going to go for the Play Rough here. I thought about baiting, but I'm like, I don't know that I really want to. It feels really, really risky. So the opponent does go ahead and shield that up, and I am going to make sure that I shield up as well. If the opponent is very concerned about me being able to get rid of their Tropius here with my Mawile, they're probably weak to it in the back, and I would like to try to preserve it if I can. But these Air Slashes are adding up, and they do decide to double shield. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for the farm down, or let them farm me down. But the opponent makes a choice here to swap out into a Steelix. And at this point, at this very point, I'm thinking, oh no, is there a Bastiodon in the back? Because if there is, I might have a bad time. But I'm going to go for my Mantine. We're going to get the Water Pulse just before they would get to a Psychic Fangs. I don't remember who wins Charge Attack priority here, so I wasn't really willing to find out. But the opponent, if they come back in with that Tropius, I did make sure that I had enough energy to get to an Aerial Ace pretty quick, but they're going to come in with a Carbink. And this is pretty spooky for me, because I have a Bug type, and I have a Flying type, and my only answer to Carbink, which is why they stayed in, is gone. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to over farm here, and I was waiting for the Tropius to come in. I felt like there was a solid chance the opponent tried to catch the Liquidation on the Tropius. We're able to catch the catch here, as they say, and go for the Liquidation. The opponent is going to need to farm up to 2 Rock Slides, which, with Rock Throw, is going to take them quite a little while. Liquidation is going to get them down low, and we're going to Shadow Claw down Golisopod, taking the win there in that game. Well played. This team also does extremely well into the D-Gen teams, like Bastiodon. All of the teams that play Bastiodon are pretty much core broken by Mawile. And we have really strong play into the rest. Now, I had a choice here to make because they had a Dragonite. I had a choice to make here. And the Dragonite double steal is always a thing. So that was my thought when I see this game. I'm like, okay, there's a solid chance that the opponent maybe has another steal in the back. Could be Registeel. Could be Carbink, could be Bastiodon. I know Carbink's not a steel type, but it could be Bastiodon, right? It could be any of those things. So I'm going to play this carefully, and I want to actually try to play it such that if I'm not going to get switched with this Mantine, I want to be able to let my Mawile just rip through something in the back. So we're going to let the Mawile cook. The opponent does decide they want to send 2 shields. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in with my Golisopod, and I'm saying, I'm going to bank on the thought that this is going to be a Bastiodon, and I am going to bring Girafarig in, let it absorb the energy. The worst the opponent can throw here is a Crunch. Not going to do too much. They show the Mawile, and 2 shields up. You saw how much we did in even shields? Oh, get ready. Mawile is ready to mow through things. We call him Mr. Chompy in my Discord, which you're going to see probably come up down there. It's through becoming a member through the YouTube or Patreon, but anyway, that's not important right now, although all that stuff is always appreciated. So this is going to be Mr. Chompy time. Flamethrower is going to get the shield. Doesn't matter. We're going to ramp up energy here. We're going to go for the power-up punch before the opponent can get to another move. Power-up punch is going to do enough right on the charge attack priority tie here, right where we like it. Power-up punch, going to get rid of the Bastiodon here. And now we have, what, a triple pupped? We have a triple pupped Mawile here. Gonna go for another power-up punch. I don't know if the opponent was at a move or close to him, but I wasn't gonna give him the chance. And now we're just gonna go, look at the Astonishes, dude. The opponent didn't even want to let me throw the play rough, unfortunately. Good game. Mawile, absolutely destructive. You love to see it. Next game, however, we don't love to see it. We got a Shadow Golurk in the lead, and I got to swap immediately to my Gliscopod, and the opponent gets me with the Carbink. Oh, Stinky Binky at it again. So I'm going to go for the Liquidation. I'm hoping for a debuff, and maybe I can get shield advantage. Unfortunately, I'm not so lucky. I just never, ever seem to get these Liquidation debuffs, man. I was trying to overfarm there, trying to see if I would be able to get to an Aerial Ace plus a Liquidation. Unfortunately, it is not so. And the opponent knows they can live it, and they don't shield them in shambles. Now, not only do I not get switch advantage, which is going to be crucial, but I'm also not going to be able to get... God, I get Moonblast, and I'm just not having a good time. They're going to come in with a Reggie Steel, dude. This is what normally happens to me. All right, I want to make something very clear. This 240-point run that I made was the stark difference of what normally happens to me. You guys see it on streams. It's not an act. It really happens. Like, I am really getting hard countered all the time, and I am mad as hell about it. So for once, I have a nice run, and then I see this, and I'm like, oh no, please stop. I mean, yes, it has to happen at least once, right? We have to get hard countered in an unwinnable game at least once. It's just normal, right? But I have to try and see if I can find a way around it. So, excuse me, what I'm doing here is I realize my switch clock is up, and I would like to try to make a catch, but I'm going to try to go for a little bit of extra damage. I also realize at the end of everything that maybe I should have just not thrown that move and tried to catch here instead of throwing. My opponent sees the catch coming, comes right in with the Golurk, wastes no time at all. They're waiting for it. They know it's coming, and they're going to go for the Shadow Punch. I'm going to come in with my Mantine. I need to try to get to 2 Aerial Aces if I have a chance at winning this game, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get there. Shadow Punch, it doesn't matter. The Shadow Punch is meaningless damage at this point because the opponent can just get to a Zap Cannon and one-shot me anyway. But just one more bubble, man. Maybe 2, but they're at a move. Close as it was, unable to take that game. Well played to the opponent. Oh, that was the end of the first set. Taking a 4-1 to the house here. 2 points shy of Expert, man. I had gone 5-0. I had gone 4-1 and 5-0 in the sets before. So now we're up against it. We need just a 3-2 to clinch Expert here. We're going to see a Licky in the first game. This is a bit of a core breaker for this team because of that normal typing and the fact that I am ABA Ghost Fast Move damage here, meaning I have Ghost Fast Move damage in the front and the back of this team, which makes this kind of uncomfortable because I know that Lickies have Shadow Ball and Earthquake. If this has Earthquake, then it could easily one-shot me, and I'm not going to take that chance. So we're going to go ahead and shield the Earthquake, and I should have gone for the play rough here. I don't know why. I thought maybe I'd be cheeky and get a shield out of them, but they decided to call this, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just go straight for power-up punches then. If I can't win through, if I can't get their shields, then I'm going to come out of this thing with so many power-up punch buffs that they're not going to know what to do about it. So now, Earthquake, they get both shields, and they come in with a Poliwrath, and I can't even use the Mawile anymore, man. It's done. Poliwrath is like one of the most stupid hard answers to Mawile that there usually is when it's not running Fairy Wind, because obviously Fairy Wind outpaces Poliwrath and allows it to get to that play rough, but the counter damage adds up very quickly on Shadow Mawile. I'm just going to continue to go for these Aerial Aces here. I'm trying to throw on good timing as I can. I don't want to give them any free energy because, you know, energy on Poliwrath is just something that you don't want to give too much of. So I'm going to go for an Aerial Ace here. Hopefully, maybe we get a shield, then we can take them out with the next one. The opponent not shielding. They're saving 2 shields. The Licky comes back in. What could be in the back at this point? Licky's going to absorb this energy or shield. They do decide to let it go. And in comes a Drifblim. And immediately I pop in with my Golisopod. And I see a win condition here. If I go for the Aerial Ace, it doesn't matter. Damage is what I need right now. Because what I can do, if I go ahead and force them to throw right here like this, I'm going to be able to come in with Mawile and get these Astonishes in, and that's going to be what matters. The Shadow Ball takes out the Golisopod, but that's exactly what I was hoping for. 4 Astonishes is all Chompy needs to take out his nemesis, the Drifblim, and 1 Astonish to get to the Tootsie Roll center of the Poliwrath, and that's going to be a good game, hopefully. Going up against an opposing Legend player running an Ariados lead here. Very nice lead. We completely wall them, and the opponent has the audacity to safe switch a Guzzlord into this Mawile. Mr. Chompy is just sitting there laughing at this Guzzlord as they are gonna go. We're gonna go for the player off. The opponent decides to shield. They should. I mean, if you're safe swapping, they must want switch advantage, meaning to tell me that they probably have an answer in the back to my Mawile. Otherwise, they would have stayed in and probably tried to play out the Ariados matchup. So, the main thing here for me is I'm going to shield up the potential Sludge Bombs. The opponent, like the first move, I never need to shield because we resist the Sludge Bomb and we resist the Dark Pole or Dark type damage. So I never need to shield the first move, but I am going to go ahead and shield the second one. And then I throw the Power Up Punch here because it's on Charge Attack priority, and I'm thinking I should probably not have done that, but it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and shield because, again, I want to make sure that I get switch advantage. Even though both Pokemon here are good against the Ariados, I would rather make sure that we maintain this Ariados to force them to come in with their final Pokemon, and they come in with a Whiscash. Would y'all like to see how much damage this boosted Shadow Player-Off is going to do to this Whiscash? Let me show you right now. Let's find out. Boom! Perfection. Taking it out almost. 1 HP. The opponent has to throw their energy, and they do it to the Golisopod. I could have come in with Mantine here. Really didn't matter at this point. I figure either way, I'm going to be able to get the damage off. I'm just going to go for the Aerial Aces here. Really, genuinely, at this point, it doesn't matter what I come in with. This opponent is going to be unable to win this game because they're going to need several, and I mean like at least 6 or 7 charge moves here to take out the rest of my team, and they're not going to be able to get that because they don't have any shields, and it's just, you know, just unfortunate, right? Like so many people have to get hard countered. Sometimes it happens, and I just think the people just aren't ready for Mawile. That's really what it comes down to. No one's ready for Mawile. But a good attempt from the opponent nonetheless, considering the situation, right? That's kind of hard to get around when something core breaks your team like that. So we're going to see another Panda in the game, in the lead in the next game here, and they're deciding to go for more energy, meaning that I'm going to be able to get to my Aerial Ace and sort of close the gap on energy here. We're going to go for another Aerial Ace if we can. The opponent is staying in to throw some energy. They're just going to go for the Night Slash here. Now, if they throw another Night Slash, I will go ahead and shield this up, just because I don't want to get rid of my Golisopod just in case there's something in the back, right? When they stay in like that, it makes me think that maybe they have an answer in the back to Mawile, and that kind of tells me like, hey, I need to get switch here. But the opponent, however, is gonna have to deal with the Mawile now after it's gotten some farm, as the switch clock was up, so I'm switching. I'm okay, once again, I'm okay with shielding this here. I'm okay with just putting both shields into my Mawile, and the opponent's going to come in with a Marowak, and my only thought at this point is boost my damage with the Astonishes. So I'm going to go for the Power Up Punch, but we get a shield, and I'm able to get to the player off, and I'm like, all right, let's go for the boosted player off. What can go wrong? It's damage, right? Look at how much this does. Just look. Boom! Bye! The opponent concedes at that point. Good game to them. Shadow Mawile with Astonish is disgusting. We had a really nice lead here in the Guzzlord. Now, it's not a great lead in the fact that, like, we're not doing super effective fast moves, but the Astonish is still chunk, and we're able to get to the player off, and I never have to shield the first move. Now, most Guzzlords so far have decided to shield the player off, so I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to throw Power Up Punch and be a little cheeky about it. Now, I never have to shield the first move here as we resist everything from Guzzlord. However, the second move, if they decide to stay in and play it out, that I would absolutely have to shield. Now, the opponent is going to go ahead and try to catch the move, and it's on a Forretress. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I think the opponent had actually, I think, brought their Halloween Cup team into Remix by accident, because this, I believe, is a Jonkus team, I think. I think it's a team he hit Expert with the Scizor, I think. I don't pay as good attention to it as I should have, but we can get to 2 power-up punches here, and the opponent has to make a decision if they want to shield. Now, I'm not really sure why they stayed in with the Guzzlord if they have the double bug backline, But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get the pop off, but we do get an Astonish through, which is nice. I'm going to come in with a Mantine. It really, like, at this point, doesn't matter so much what I come in with, but the Mantine's got more bulk to it, and I would rather take the moves from the Scizor, because they have Trailblaze as well as Night Slash. I would rather take that damage on my Scizor rather than taking it on the squishier Golisopod. But the opponent does decide to come in with the Guzzlord here, and I'm going to be able to get to another Aerial Ace. The opponent is going to throw. They win charge attack priority. I also know, however, that I have a win condition. If they decide to shield this to keep their Guzzlord alive, I can shield back, get the farm on Golisopod, and get it with a liquidation. Or the opponent decides to let it go. I just immediately pivot into my Golisopod, and I realize at this point that I'm just going to go for fast moves. The Aerial Aces, I need to get to 2 Aerial Aces to win, and I would get to the fast move down before I would get to 2 Aerial Aces. So in this case, we just go for the fast moves. We're going to be able to take out the Scizor, and that's going to be a good game to the opponent. The boost that they wish they had gotten sooner, unfortunate, but well played to the opponent. Getting into the next game, we got a Piloswine on the lead. Some spice from the opponent. I have to be careful of this thing if it's got Mud Slap, and I don't want to stay around to find out. So I'm going to go into my Golisopod, forces the opponent to swap out before taking a liquidation on their Piloswine, and they're going to take it on the Drifblim unless they decide to shield here. Opponent going for the no shield here, and that means I'm going to be able to get to an Aerial Ace as well. The amount of energy that we were able to gain from this is quite nice. And that's going to force the opponent to shield here. We are going to shield back. I would like to get Switch, just because if I can, I would rather do the super effective bubble damage and not have to worry about taking a high horsepower on the Mantine, because that, you know, on the Mawile, it would pretty much one-shot us. So we'll see what the opponent wants to come in with. They do have a Poliwrath here, which is going to be good here. That means that we're going to be able to get to an Aerial Ace, and I'm hoping I should be able to get to another one. We do resist all the damage from this thing, but unfortunately, the counter damage is just enough to knock us out and get a nice starting farm for the Poliwrath. So I'm actually going to come in with my Mantine here, and I'm hoping to be able to get an Aerial Ace off against this thing, but the opponent swaps immediately into the Piloswine. I'm going to try to get to try to catch the Avalanche, but unfortunately, I'm not quick enough. The opponent, knowing their timing here, is going to be able to get an Avalanche off, so I'm going to go ahead and shield it. And now I'm going to go ahead and bait the Water Pulse here, hoping they shield as well, which they do. And now I'm going to go ahead and swap, try to make that catch again, but the opponent, waiting for it, knows it's coming, and they're going to go for the high horsepower. This is going to hurt a lot. Boom! But this is okay, because now I can just go for some energy, get the Aerial Ace off here, and then I also have nearly an Aerial Ace left for the Poliwrath, which should be low enough for us to knock it out, and that should take this game as long as this Aerial Ace is enough. It's been a while since I played this matchup. I don't remember exactly how much this does, but wasn't worried in the slightest. It's going to be enough, and that's going to take out the Poliwrath, and that's going to be a good game to the opponent. Team absolutely crushed it, going 18-2 with this 5-0. We cap it off, and it was just such a run. I cannot state just how powerful Shadow Mawile is with Astonish in this meta. Shoutouts to Julio MC in yesterday's video for giving me the idea. Went from 2590 to 2823 in 4 sets. That is an incredible class. It's 230 points, dude. And I just, oh man, I can't, man. Anyway, thank y'all very much for watching. I hope to see you again soon after we're done with the moving. You guys are going to see some pre-recorded content for about the next week or so. I think I may have mentioned that in the beginning already. But anyway, that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for, again, all for the love and the support from me and my family. It means the world to us, and we're hoping to see you all soon together in one screen, one space. Catch you guys next time. Bye.